What did Steve Jobs learn from John Lennon and the Beatles? Today, many of us aspire to learn a thing or two from the life of Steve Jobs, but very few of us are aware that Steve Jobs himself learned a thing or two from John Lennon and the Beatles. My name is Gaurav, and I'll let you know what exactly that thing is. But before I do that, let me introduce you to this YouTube channel real quick. The name of this YouTube channel is Epiphany by Gaurav. Epiphany means a sudden moment of realization, and I find myself way too familiar to such situations where I feel that, oh, I have had a sudden moment of realization. So I thought I should probably start my own YouTube channel and name it Epiphany by Gaurav. Alright, so let's get back to where we started. What did Steve Jobs learn from John Lennon and the Beatles? I was reading this biography by Walter Isaacson. I found the answer to that question in this book. In chapter 32 of this book, there's an excerpt that I would like to read out to you, and that excerpt has the answer to what did Steve Jobs learn from John Lennon and the Beatles. So let me read that excerpt for you. Among Jobs' prize series was a bootleg that contained a dozen or so taped sessions of Beatles revising Strawberry Fields Forever. It became the musical score to his philosophy of how to perfect a product. Andy Hertzfeld had found the CD and made a copy of it for Jobs in 1986, though Jobs sometimes told folks that it had come from Yoko Ono. Sitting in the living room of his Palo Alto home one day, Jobs rummaged around in some glass-enclosed bookcases to find it, then put it on while describing what it had taught him. It's a complex song, and it's fascinating to watch the creative process as they went back and forth and finally created it over a few months. Lennon was always my favorite Beatle. He laughs as Lennon stops during the first take and makes the band go back and revise a chord. Did you hear that little detour they took? It didn't work, so they went back and started from where they were. It's so raw in this version. It actually makes them sound like mere mortals. You could actually imagine other people doing this, up to this version. Maybe not writing and conceiving it, but certainly playing it. Yet, they just didn't stop. They were such perfectionists that they kept it going and going. This made a big impression on me when I was in my 30s. You could just tell how much they worked at this. They did a bundle of work between each of these recordings. They kept sending it back to make it closer to perfect. As he listens to the third take, he points out how the instrumentation has gotten more complex. The way we build stuff at Apple is often this way. Even the number of models we'd make of a new notebook or iPod. We would start off with a version and then begin refining and refining, doing detailed models of the design or the buttons or how a function operates. It's a lot of work, but in the end, it just gets better, and soon it's like, wow, how did they do that? Where are the screws? So this was the excerpt, after reading which, in my moment of epiphany, I discovered three things. First, we should not hesitate to go back to the start and start from scratch. Doing so allows us to apply the knowledge that we acquired from our previous attempts, and hence increases the chances of us doing better this time around. Also, it may be that things do work out in our favor this time. Second, to acknowledge the fact that great work cannot be done with haste. We should be willing to dedicate our time and energy towards the things that we believe in. Third, and probably the most important one, was that perfection, just like happiness, is a pursuit. It comes only to those who are persistent enough to keep moving ahead and have a faith within themselves that they would eventually reach where they want to. Even though they are not able to do so right now, eventually they will be able to do so. I hope that by this video I was able to give you some inspiration to go ahead in life with a persistent attitude. You too can give me some inspiration by sharing this video with the people you know and by subscribing to this channel. I look forward to being with you again very soon with another video and sharing with you another moment of my epiphany.